embrace neurodivergence of our shared disabled community. I'm sure we can all agree that being seen and included in a community can change your life. But creating communities where everyone is embraced, valued for their authentic, complex, multifaceted selves, that can change the world. You may not know this, but approximately 20% of the world's population is neurodivergent. We tend to think it's higher, but there you go. Despite the fact that there's so many neurodivergent people, we are regularly expected to leave those parts of our identity at the door when entering neurotypical majority spaces. Like so many other multiply marginalized community members have to do. This is why it's been so heartening and empowering to see the disabled community as a whole beginning to step up to the promise it holds, to not just tolerate the difference, but celebrate diversity. When we founded NeuroPride Ireland, we wanted to create a space where neurodivergent people could be ourselves freely and authentically. Neurodivergent people have our own styles of communication, unique ways of experiencing the world, and a rich and growing culture. Outrageously, we are told by the world from birth to feel ashamed of not being neurotypical. We are criticized for not showing our love, our joy, our fear, our anger in neurotypical ways. But thankfully, more and more of us are refusing to accept this shame as our birthright. We are proud of our community and our differences. Community to us is of the utmost importance. Community is recognition, it is belonging, it is healing, it is empowerment, and it is the foundations on which we can fight back against injustice, inequality, and shame. It is with this community we fight for pride. But pride can't just be for those of us that are deemed as passively neurotypical, nor can it just be for the good days. We can't just take pride in neurodivergencies that are deemed acceptable. We must take pride in all neurodivergencies and all disabilities. We must accept that some disabilities are more stigmatized than others. We may want everybody to be vocal and proud, but it's not always safe. Yes, all disabled people face discrimination and stigma. I am not for 1 second doubting that. But let us remember, in particular, our mad siblings, especially those with what are deemed unacceptable neurodivergencies. I'm autistic. I have no problem saying that. And I know if any service was to discriminate against me, I would have an army of outcry fighting for me. I have a pseudo-cerebral tumour, and I know if a doctor refused me health care, I would have outrage from friends and family offering to advocate on my behalf. So how am I so confident in this? Because these things have happened to me. But here's the important thing. In my experience, everybody who believes in disability pride recognizes this as bigotry. However, when a doctor refuses me meds for having borderline personality difference, nobody batted an eye. When social workers question my parenting purely because I have what they deem mentally unwell, very few people even listen to me. Advocates who shout for disability pride all of a sudden trust that these professionals know what's in my best interest. Sure, they would have you believe that us cluster Bs are prone to exaggerating and making stuff up. And this is unacceptable. If we're going to fight for equality, this has to include all of us. We cannot leave the most marginalized behind. We cannot shove those who are deemed more stigmatized than us to one side just so we can create a prettier picture. Since accepting that I'm autistic, I've never once been afraid to say it. But every single time that I say I have BPD, it's a struggle for me to say it. I am afraid of what people may think, or worse, what consequences may come from me saying this. And those consequences will be deemed widely acceptable regardless of the ableist intent. So I'm asking us not to leave our most hidden behind. Just because someone isn't safe to be proud, it doesn't mean they are not worthy of our pride. We must provides safer means of listening and amplifies marginalized voices. Because those of us who are privileged enough to be able to speak without fear must do it in hopes that one day the rest can join us. Sometimes it's easy for people to forget that disabled people even exist. But even within our community, we fall guilty of sidelining some members. Many of us don't know the additional challenges many marginalized members face. Like autistic trans people will still be denied gender affirming care. Queer wheelchair users denied the right to adopt. Because we don't talk about it. We don't make an outcry. We don't make a fuss. We tell ourselves it's not our fight. So for our mad siblings, our queer kin, our migrant family, our non-speaking clan, and all of those who are more likely to be silenced, we must fight. The other day I was explaining Disability Pride to 2 young children I know. They had 2 requests of me to say today, and that is to let you all know that we are all human and we deserve to be treated as such. And to remind everyone that disabled queers exist and we deserve to be loved. These are 2 very simple requests from a beautiful young child who had the privilege of growing up surrounded by a diverse cast of loving, accepting adults. They grew up in a world that my brain wouldn't have understood as a child. If you had told me that I could say I was disabled and people would actually understand what I was talking about, I wouldn't have believed you. But children I know, children I love, children all around the country get to grow up with disability representation, disabled education, and disability pride. That's not to erase our hardships, nor is it to erase our